All right. Well, we've already talked about the metric system. Today we're going to talk about the customary units of measurement. Actually, the customary units is what we use here in the United States to measure capacity, weight, length, and time. We are one of the few countries that use that, actually. Most countries do use the metric system. So let's see what we know. Be sure you have a piece of note paper. Be ready to go. So what do we already know about the units of length? We know that length comes in inches, by the foot, by the yard, or by the mile. So when we talk about things, those are the units we use. So what do we know about them? 1 yard is the same as 3 feet. 1 foot is the same as 12 inches. And 1 mile, it equals 5,280 feet. Now, for the unit of weight, if we wanted to see which was the smallest, which one's the greatest, the smallest unit of weight is actually the ounces. Then would come the pounds, and then would come a ton, because that's the biggest. So 1 ton actually equals 2,000 pounds. And 1 pound equals 16 ounces. Make sure you're writing those down. Now, we've all heard the gallon man before. I would make yourself a gallon man right now on your sheet. The gallon man is the hub, the G for the gallon. Inside that gallon, you have 4 Qs. That means you have 4 quarts in every gallon. Inside those quarts, you have the P, which is the pint. That means there's 2 pints in every quart, and there's 8 pints in a gallon. And then inside the pint, you have the cup. That means there's 2 cups in every pint, there's 4 cups in every gallon, in every quart, and there's 16 cups in every gallon. Go ahead and make yourself a gallon man so you have it as a reference as we go forward. Now, what about capacity? Let's put them in order from the smallest to the greatest. Well, if you're looking at your gallon man, the smallest thing we have there is the cup. And then we have the pint to the quart to get to the gallon. The gallon is the biggest unit. So let's change some things. Use our gallon man to help us. If you look at your gallon man, 1 pint has how many cups? Well, there's 2 cups inside that 1 P, so 2 cups. 1 gallon has how many quarts? Well, there's 4 Qs inside that G, so there's 4 quarts. 1 quart is how many pints? How many P's are inside those Qs? There's 2 of them. 1 cup equals 8 fluid ounces. That means liquid ounces. And 1 gallon, there's 16 cups. So let's try to do some measuring. Going from the big to the small, that means I'm multiplying. If I have 5 miles, how many feet is that? Well, you just wrote down that 1 mile is 5,280 feet. So take 5,280, multiply that by 5. What do you get? You get 26,400 feet. 8 gallons is how many cups? Well, how many cups are in 1 gallon? There's 16 of them. So I'm going to take my 8 times 16 to find out that I'm going to have 128 cups. Now the next one's a little tricky. Let me make some room here. We're going to go from 1 day to how many seconds? We need to break this down. All right, 1 day equals how many hours? 24 hours. All right, that's the first thing we know. We know that 1 hour is the same as 60 minutes. So how many minutes are there in a day? 24 times 60 means that I have 1,440 minutes in a day. Well, 1 minute equals 60 seconds. Kind of hard to see there. Let me go ahead and write that a little better. Didn't write so well for me. Seconds, we'll abbreviate. All right, so I have to take my 60 seconds and multiply it by my number of minutes. So 1,440 times 60 gives me how many seconds in a day? That means I have 86,400 seconds in 1 day. All right, let's do some more conversions. Now we're going to go the other direction. We're going to go from the small units to the bigger units. That means I'm going to divide. So I have 540 inches. How many feet is that? That means I'm going to divide that 540 divided by 12, because there's 12 inches in 1 foot. And that's going to give me a total of 45 feet. Going from cups to gallons, I'm going to take that 824 and divide it by 16. There's 16 cups in 1 gallon. How many do I have? I end up with 51.5 gallons, and it's okay to have a decimal. Now let's go the other way for seconds to hours. Again, knowing what we know. How many seconds are in 1 hour? So how do we do that? So start out at the beginning. First, we're going to divide it by 60. All right, because there's 60 seconds in 1 minute. So if I take 216,000 and divide it by 60, I'm going to come up with 3,600 minutes. Now divide that by 60 to get to seconds. So 3,600 divided by 60 is going to tell me how many hours. That's actually 60 hours that I would have for 216,000 seconds. Let's you try this. Get out your paper and try and come back and check. All right, so hopefully you were able to do this. 3 yards to inches. If you weren't sure, start with saying how many feet. Go 1 unit at a time because it goes yards, feet to inches. How many feet are in a yard? There's 3 feet in 1 yard. That means there's 9 feet in 3 yards. So how many inches should you come up with? Well, if I move my little man over top, he's going to tell us I should have come up with 108. If you didn't, go ahead and check and see what we can do differently to help. You should have gone to feet first, then inches. You cannot skip. 2 cups equals how many fluid ounces? Well, we know that there's 8 ounces in 1 cup. So this is a division problem. Dividing that 104 by 8, you should have come up with 13. How many pounds to ounces? Well, there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. So you're going to be multiplying pounds to ounces. You would have come up with 64. Minutes to hours. Well, there's 60 minutes in 1 hour. So that's multiplication. That's the smaller unit to the larger unit. So let's go times 60 to find out that it's 540. And now 2 years to weeks. Well, if you didn't know, there's 52 weeks in 1 year. So in 2 years, there should be 104 weeks. All right, go ahead and give your homework a try. Hopefully you took good notes. If not, rewatch this and be sure to write things down.